We have a really good sense of what works in marketing. So when we give our clients advice on what's going to work, it's going to work. And the only thing stopping them from implementing it is them and their mindset.
We believe, and we firmly believe this, that when you're an entrepreneur, and especially in the startup phase, you can't just be the operator in your business. You can't just be the coach and only coach, because you're going to run out of clients. Like, your warm audience will run out and you will need to find new audience.
Welcome to the Success School podcast. We are on episode 52. And today we're talking about what our most successful clients are doing so you guys can learn from it. Before I go any further, our podcast team are breaking our balls. If you're listening to this show, hit that follow button, hit the subscribe wherever you're at. I just want to make sure you guys are there because we need to pump up those rookie numbers, which we're on at the moment. Steph, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's so nice to be back in our podcast studio. We are back home for just a week, which is crazy. So we are just back to back in the recording studio right now to make sure that we bring you guys the juice and the success and the tips and the tactics and the strategies that you need to grow your business. And so we are going to be sitting here for, the next 55 million hours to bring this show to you over the next few weeks.
But we got the Dog and Gun coffee again. So, we're supplied with caffeine. So welcome, Dog and Gun.
Tim is pretending like he's sponsored.
Yeah.
He really wants to get sponsored. So someone tag
anyone.
Dog
I'll
and
take
Gun.
anything, $1. Like whatever you want, I'll sponsor you.
He wants to be an influencer.
I bet someone will reach out now. Personal update for me. I became a man, but I want to give you a specific, really fucking hilarious story about becoming a man on the caravanning trip that we just went on. So there's something called a UHF radio. And a friend of ours, Brad, he said there's two places you can say whatever the fuck you want in the world. One of them's on the UHF radio, which I knew this after. And then the other one's online gaming, where you're just trolling little kids. So we'll talk about the UHF radio. So I got it installed. We actually got it as a Christmas present. Got it installed in our car for the caravan trip. And we're up near Karratha. So we hadn't used it yet. And this was, probably a week into the trip. I was stuck behind a truck and the road was really windy. So I was like, Steph, fire up the radio. Let's get on channel 40 or whatever it is. And, the thing with the UHF radio, if you've never been with someone that's used one, you don't know how to use it. So I'm just recalling in my head all the movies of people using radios. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Let's just give this a go. So I press the button. I go, big truck in front, over. And it was just dead silence. No one said anything. What I didn't know is that this signal goes kilometers, and there could have been hundreds of trucks that have heard this. And I've just said, big truck in front, over. And then someone replies and goes,
big truck.
He goes, can you be a bit more specific? And I was like, big truck in front with hay bales on the back, over. and Steph and I are just losing it because we've just realized that we don't even know what the fuck we're doing
no
here.
idea how this works.
I don't even know if it was the guy like that. Someone
Yeah.
replied to us anyway. We didn't know it was the guy. And then he's just like, yep, good to go. Kind of we went past him. And then we met up with our friends, Ash and Brad, told them the story. And they said, it's not like the war. You don't say Roger and over and all these things. So every time, the whole trip, the whole Gib River, every time we're using the radio, we're saying Roger, Captain, over. What else are we saying on there?
Yeah, just all those
And then
things.
when you use a UHF radio, you have to give specific signals. So it's we're going northbound on this road or southbound, and we're just literally getting on the radio saying big truck in front, over.
Honestly, we were crying
Oh, man,
with
we're
laughter.
crying now.
So amateur. We were very amateur on this trip, which is so good, guys.
But pro now, PhD in caravanning. What up?
Yeah, doesn't need to say Roger, doesn't need to say over, knows northbound and southbound. Very, very professional. Loved that. One of my favorite parts of the trip for sure.
Yeah.
Once we had that chat with Ash and Brad, it was hilarious. So one thing that I learned while we were caravanning was that you actually, and this is going to sound really obvious, and it's funny how sometimes, people are like, oh, money won't make you happy. And everyone's like, yeah, money won't make you happy. But you really don't get it until you experience it, right? This is one of those moments. So I was like, before we went on this trip, Tim and I were on realistate.com just all the time, constantly looking for the next house. And we've fallen in love with quite a few that are probably in the range of, money that, we probably don't actually want to spend on a house, but we just kind of thought, well, that's the next step.
You'd feel it money.
Yeah. You would notice it missing from your bank account kind of cash flow. And so we we were just thinking about it. Anyway, we got on this trip, and one night we were laying in the caravan, and the dogs were on their little bed that our table turns into a bed basically.
Yeah.
And so they're on their little bed, and we're watching TV in our bed, on this 12-inch screen, and giggling and just having a really nice night. And I said, there's just not much more you need, than this. Like, this is all we need. Like, it's funny how you can think that you need so much more, and you can think that you need, the new desk or the new house, the new car or the new garage or the new thing or the whatever. And you actually just don't need it, because everything that we needed, everything that made us happy, everything that brings us joy, everything that we value was in that van. And it was a really awesome realization for us. And what was interesting was that when we got home, I went to the gym the other day, and right next to the gym is an Early Settler, which is a furniture store. And I immediately, my first instinctual thought was, I'd love to go and buy some furniture. Nothing specific, just would love to go buy furniture. And I thought, wow, isn't that crazy? Because I have no reason to buy furniture. I don't want to buy any furniture. I have nothing that we need. But immediately just being back home and being in the environment of everyday consumers, it made me think to myself, I want to buy some stuff. And we actually don't need anything. And so I think that, when you live in cities, when you live in places, like Perth or in Australia or wherever, you can get really caught up in responding to what's around you, the next big house, the next nice car, more furniture, more this, more stuff, when actually we just don't need a lot to be happy. And if you really look around your house, none of it really means anything. The only thing that means anything are probably the people in your household. And so it was a really beautiful reminder for us to just probably be really happy with where we're at and what we have. And we're probably not going to move from this house for a really long time. And it was a really awesome wake-up call for us.
And I just want to explain how petty it was on our behalf upgrading this house, because we justified it, and I'll say we, I say I justified it to myself to get a garage. Which imagine spending multi-million dollars just to get a house with a garage versus our house is nice at the moment, and then a pool, which we wouldn't even use anyway. So we had access to an abundance of pools up north. Didn't use one.
Didn't use a single pool.
I'll use one.
Yeah.
In Broome, because it was fucking hot. And then I was like, imagine us selling our house now to get a pool that we're going to use twice a year and a garage to park our car in. Who gives a fuck? It doesn't even matter. It's so silly to put yourself in financial hurt to keep up with the Joneses.
It was keeping up with the Joneses, and that's really what it was. And it's something that, I think we're all guilty of. And I think it's so subconscious and it's so programmed into who we are and into our culture that it just, I hadn't even been aware of it. And then we left and we went up north, and there's nothing to buy. It's literally nothing to buy. A Gib River shirt from the petrol station maybe. But outside of that, there's nothing to buy. And you realize you don't need anything. And it was fucking magic. It was a really magic, really freeing, really incredible realization. It's probably changed the way that our future is going to go. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. If you're someone that, things like this, I would challenge you to go on a trip like this into rural wherever, like Australia, Africa, Asia, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter about your Botox in your lips. It doesn't matter about fake whatever you've got on. It doesn't matter what fucking brand you're wearing on your feet. No one gives a fuck. Everyone there is happy, having a good time, and just fucking living.
Yeah.
And Steph and I came up with the line "slivin'," which is just this is fucking living. And we would say that to ourselves on the trip. And it wasn't because we had a Ram 1500 or a Lotus Caravan. It's because we were just fucking doing it and just living our best life with nothing.
Little. So we're going to dive into the topic for today though. So this is what our most successful clients are doing. And we thought we would share this with you because we have a lot of clients, all of them ranging from, absolutely crushing it to still getting past their mindset stuff, and still leaning in and learning to take action and still the really skill development phase. And there's nothing wrong with being in any of the phases, nothing right about the people who are absolutely crushing it or any of those things. But I think it's really cool to learn from not just myself and Tim, because I think a lot of the times when you create success like Tim and I have, people are often yeah, but they're, special.
They're
or
X.
They're X, or they had
they're
this,
different.
or they're different somehow. And so that's cool. You can think that. It's not true, but I understand that thought process. And so we thought we would share with you just 3 or 4 of our clients, the ones that are doing all things, and we're going to break it down into different sections for you, mindset, sales, marketing, systems, all those sorts of things. And we're going to break it down for you so you guys can see what the people who are achieving the shit that you see online that you're looking up to and you're oh my God, I really want that. How are they getting those results? We want to break it down for you so you can actually see what's going on behind the scenes for people like this. Let's kick in. kick
All
off.
right, hit me with a question. What do we got?
Right. So what are our most successful clients doing from a mindset point of view?
So on the last episode, I did hit this with what they're not doing, and I'm going to hit it with what they're not doing again. I'll give you guys an example. So a lot of success is marketing. Steph and I are phenomenal marketers, better than we are salespeople or scale or whatever it is. It's like marketing's our thing. So we have a lot of marketing ideas. And, you know, from our perspective, we've worked with a lot of businesses in a different niche and we know what works. So, you know, we'd be on coaching calls and they'll be like, cool, so what do I do here? And I'll give them a suggestion. I'll say, I think you should go and do X. And then they say some shit like, oh, that wouldn't work for me. Or I can't do that. Or I don't like insert whatever, email, paid ads, you know, outreaching people, whatever it is. But the people that are successful are like, maybe I could do that. Maybe that would work for me. Maybe that would be successful. Maybe I should give that a try. And that's the difference in the mindset. It's the fixed mindset of I can't, it won't, and I'm not going to do it versus I can learn, I can try, I will get better at it, and I will make this work for me. Because Steph and I have seen this and seen this in businesses ranging from so many different types of businesses. We have a really fucking good sense of what works in marketing. So when we give our clients advice on what's going to work, it's going to work. And the only thing stopping them from implementing it is them and their mindset.
Yeah, I love that. And I would add one more thing to the mindset conversation. Every single one of our clients that is doing really well believes that they deserve to be doing really well. And what I mean by that is not like they deserve it, but like they actually believe it's possible for them. So they've come into this program, like ones that have started at zero and been like, I am going to be the best damn, you know, whatever, bookkeeper, accountant, nutritionist, you know, business coach, whatever it might be. I'm going to be the best at it. Watch me fucking shine. And they come in with that attitude. Like one of our, you know, best clients, you know, came to us the other day and she was like, I just don't get why I'm not already at 50K months. And I was like, that's the energy of it. Like that's the end. Like, yeah, why am I not there? Show me what I need to be doing. Cause like, I believe that I should be there. And then when we give them the advice off the back of what Tim said, when we give them the advice, they trust. They trust us. They've invested in us. They trust us. They trust that we would give them the advice that they're paying for. We give them the advice and they're like, okay, I'm going to do it. Versus if you don't have trust, like if you're paying a business coach, please trust them. Trust them. And sometimes I understand, like, and I'm not saying to do things that feel massively out of integrity. Don't do those things. But just try and report back a month later. Hey, this worked. It didn't work. Hey, it worked. One of the girls came onto a group coaching call the other day and she said to me, hey, Steph, I think I'm going to cold call a heap of these clients. And she was like, does cold calling typically work for women? Now, I want to be really clear. She works in a niche that I probably would not usually recommend cold calling. So it's a spiritual niche. And so I was like, oh, like, look, I don't know. I haven't seen it done in your niche because
And we don't put our shit on
we
other
do not
clients
put our
either,
shit on
so-
other clients. So I was not going to be like, that won't work. So I was like, do you know what? I would love to know how that works. So if you're open to doing it, here's how I would do it. And I want you to go and I want you to cold call. And I just kind of gave her the stats around cold calling, how it looks and how it feels and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she messaged me like half an hour later. She's like, because I did a poll on the group call. I was like, put your hand up if you answer your phone on like when a stranger rings.
Yeah.
And like 4 people put their hands up out of, I think there was like 12 people on the call. And I was like, that was more
That's
than,
surprising,
that was
yeah.
actually more than I expected. That was more people than I expected. It was like Tim and I would never answer. We just don't answer calls.
Phones
Full
on
stop.
do not disturb.
Ever.
I basically shouldn't have a number.
Yeah, like literally.
I don't answer.
Please email me or text me
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do not call.
Don't text me.
So we never answer our phones. And this is the thing, guys. The way that you receive calls or read emails or whatever doesn't mean that's the way that everyone does it. So a quarter of the people who were on the call, or actually a third of the people who were on the call, said that they would answer calls. Anyway, she texted me straight afterwards and she was like, Steph, the first person answered and she bought. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. So it doesn't have to work every time. It just needs to work sometimes. And so she tried it. She reported back. I said, try it for the rest of the month. Let me know how you go. Come back. And then we know it works. And now we're all learning together, which is the best. And what shitty business coaches do is they say, don't do that because it won't work. That sucks. Don't say that to your clients ever. If you're a business coach, don't say that shit. Okay. Let them try it. Let them learn. They may have a better way of doing it than you. And so be really open to that. But the thing is, and coming back to the mindset conversation, is they trust us and they try stuff and they're open to trying stuff and they're not as bought into like, oh my God, this needs to work. Otherwise I am a failure. They're just like, I need to try this because if I don't try new shit, I'm not going to reach success. And so that is a real mindset flip that we see all of our best clients that they really have that in place.
Yeah, just a public service announcement that everything you do is probably going to stop working in business. Okay. And if you go into business or marketing with a one-track mind, you're going to get crushed because eventually it's going to stop working because so many people start doing it and it just becomes less effective, less effective, less effective. I wouldn't say that we pioneered selling in the chat. I would say probably in like our niches, we've done it and, spoke about it quite a lot, which has caused a lot of people to do it. So I'd say like selling in the chat, this is just an example here, has gotten more popular, but less effective because more people are doing it now.
Correct.
The same thing goes with organic Instagram. Same thing goes with Reels. Same thing goes with ads, lead magnets, like literally insert any marketing example here. But if you've got the mindset that you're sticking to one thing only forever and ever, you're going to get destroyed. Okay. So you have to be flexible and you have to have an open mindset. So let's transition into marketing. Steph, what are our most successful clients doing from a marketing point of view?
A lot.
A lot.
And so I want to touch on this. We believe, and we firmly believe this, that when you're an entrepreneur, and especially in the startup phase, and the startup being like probably the first, I don't know, whatever, I would say we're still in the startup phase. I would still categorize us within the startup phase.
Sub 5.
So yeah, like sub, 5 mil probably. Yeah. And I would say like if you're over 5 mil, it's probably a very different conversation. But if you're sub $5 million a year, then, and definitely probably sub 3 million. And if you're under $1 million, 100% this is you. You can't just be the operator in your business. You can't just be the coach and only coach because you're going to run out of clients. Like your warm audience will run out and you will need to find new audience. You can't just be the bookkeeper in your business. And we had this beautiful conversation with Kat, who is one of our clients, and she's a bookkeeper and runs an incredible practice. And she knew from day one. So she started her business with $0, right? And she knew from day one, the first person she hired within the first couple of weeks was another bookkeeper, because she was like, I can get fully booked with bookkeeping for sure, but then I just have another job that I'm getting probably paid less to do. And she always knew that she wanted to be an entrepreneur and not a business owner, in terms of like, she didn't want to be working in the business full time. And so she only wanted to work 3 days a week. She wanted to be able to spend time with her kids. And so she set her business up really intentionally so that she would have a team member to take on the work, so that she could focus on the networking, the marketing, the getting out there, the meeting people, the presenting in masterminds, all of those things that actually bring in the clients, so that she could hire more bookkeepers to build the business. And so that is an incredible frame of mind to have. Is like, if you're in business and you're sub 5 million, you are a marketer and a deliverer. Like, so we deliver, we incredibly coach our clients, and then the rest of the time we're marketing, and that's it. And if you are not focusing on marketing like it's your damn job, you are 100% leaving so much money on the table. And you can sit here and you're listening to this, you're like, but I'm not good at marketing. Just like anything else, it's a skill that you have to develop. And so the skill of marketing is a fundamental skill. And you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know SEO. You don't have to know Facebook ads. You don't have to know. Just start with one. Just start with one. The one where you get clients from currently, the one where most people are active, the one where your ideal audience hangs out on. Start there and get really good at that. But our best clients are marketing on multiple platforms, at least 3, and they're very, very, very consistent. So they plan their marketing, at least a week in advance. They spend time on it. They review their analytics. They look at their stuff. They figure out what their audience loves. They figure out what's bringing the most in. They do more of that. Every single one of our best clients networks. I want to just really hit that, because I feel like so many entrepreneurs are just little keyboard warriors sitting behind their computers, hoping that people are going to find them off of some viral reel, where you could actually just, like, one of our, best clients, they presented recently in front of, I think it was like 800 people, had their biggest, highest cash month ever. You can leverage other people's audiences, and that will grow you so much faster. But if you just sit there behind your computer waiting for people to find you, you are missing out on so much opportunity. And so I would say that they're multi-channel, omnipresent, and they market like it's their job.
Yeah. Only other thing to add is, the ones that aren't successful get a little scared of different marketing platforms. Like, in particular, paid ads. I'd say that would be one. So, this may have been a block of ours, Steph, but probably a couple of years ago, we were like, oh, paid ads are a little bit hard to teach and we don't think they'll get it. So we didn't teach it. So what I did is I simplified the entire paid ads thing, put it in a 3-hour training in Success School. I mentor all of our clients on paid ads. I run through their ads. I, review everything. I make sure they're crushing. And how have the results been,
Insane.
Steph?
So insane.
Insane.
So insane. Like, people are making so much more money and getting so many leads, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. like I 100% agree with the multi-channel approach. The only other thing is I want to add to this is don't be adverse to paid ads. This is the way that business is going. Social media platforms, the reach is drying up. It's going down. I actually presented on this last week in terms of what's happening with reach and engagement and all these types of things. They are going down purposely, okay? Because this is the companies make money off paid ads. So, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. And if you want to learn the skills of it, obviously we can teach you or you can learn it elsewhere. But I just would say that just be very open to new forms of marketing. I agree with networking. I agree with organic. I agree with email. I agree with outbound and outreach and podcasting and long form and all the things. I do believe that you should be doing all of it. I don't believe you should be doing all of it straight away. I think it's something that you build up to. And just for like reference here, once you become skilled, this doesn't take long. Okay. So I can punch out 6 Facebook posts, 6 Instagram posts, 2 emails, podcasts, do all my ads, literally all that stuff in 2 hours a week. Okay. 2 hours a week. That's it for all of that. Okay. And that would take some people 20 hours or some people a month. I showed one of our clients that she said that would take me a month to do what I do in a week.
But that's also a belief system, but she just hasn't found a system for it yet. And so because I would have said the same thing, you know, a year ago. Yeah, but Tim's different. It takes me 3 or 4 hours. It takes Tim 2. You know, it does take me a little bit longer. I probably just have a little bit more, I overthink things a little bit more than Tim. Tim's a lot more practical and pragmatic. And so he gets it done a lot faster. But if I'm an overthinking person, but I have some skills, can do it in 3 to 4 hours a week across multiple marketing platforms, really anybody can. And so it is something that you build up over time. And I don't think that every channel is right for every single business. So like, for example, if you are a copywriter, I don't think that you need to have a YouTube channel. I don't even think you need a podcast. I think that you could get really, really fully booked from SEO. And I think that you could get really fully booked from networking. And I think you could get really, really fully booked from just referral-based marketing and prioritizing those things. You know, so I think that for every individual niche and every individual business, your marketing plan will be different. So please don't just replicate somebody else's because you don't know if it's working, first of all. And second of all, it might not be right for you and your niche. This is the benefit of having obviously someone in your corner to tell you.
All right, Steph, gun to your head. And you can only pick 3 answers. You can never change them and you can never change the order. The first answer gets 50% of your effort. The second answer gets 30% and the third answer gets 20% of your total effort. What are your top 3 marketing platforms? And you can never change them.
This feels like one of those moments where they like asking you those math equations at school and they're like, so how many apples does he have left? And I'm like, 5.
Best, third best for you.
Okay. I would say that Facebook ads would be our number 1. And the reason being that it works for you while you sleep and it brings in leads 24/7. So that is that. And if you knew me 2 years ago, gun to my head, I would have been like, we're never going to run ads. Like, yeah, it's so allergic. So I would say number 1 is ads. Number 2 would be Instagram for me personally. And number 3 would be something, you know what, I was going to say email, but it probably wouldn't be if I had to only choose 3. And I think that the third one for me would be, oh, damn, actually, maybe I changed my mind. I don't know. Damn, this is really hard. Gun
to your head, the trigger's going to go off.
Okay, oh my God. Okay, I would go Facebook, email, YouTube.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's tough.
That's so tough.
Yeah,
and let me talk you through, and we're not even really doing YouTube yet because
talk us through it.
Yeah. So we're seeing a huge transition in the market right now toward long form, and especially for personal brands. And we're having more success on YouTube than we had in our podcast in in 3 videos. We've had more success on YouTube than we've ever had in our podcast, and more people reaching out and more whatever. So we know that if you want to have a personal brand and you want to leverage that personal brand, YouTube is really amazing. And I would say that Facebook ads, they work for you all the time. So if you created a YouTube training, you could run Facebook ads to it. And then in that YouTube training, in the link underneath, you could have them go to landing pages and sign up. And then from there, if they don't sign up, you could email market all of them anyway. So I would say that they would be my 3. And that's really crazy because I spend a frig ton of time on Instagram and I spend a lot of time, like, I guess, teaching about Instagram. But they would actually be my top 3. What about you? Gun to your head. You've had more time to think about this.
Gun to my head, personal Facebook, number 1, number 2, YouTube, and number 3, ads. Yeah. I think it's really important. The ads are cool And I always say this to our clients. What our clients do with ads, this is hilarious. So I give them this whole training, and it's like top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Top of funnel, we create awareness so people know who the fuck you are. Middle of funnel, we give them some value, and then bottom of funnel, we sell them some shit. Really simple to understand. They go straight to the bottom of funnel.
Everyone just wants to make money.
They just want to make money. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So you're telling me you're putting out an ad for someone to buy something for $27 and $99 and no one's buying. I wonder fucking why. Okay, because they don't know who the hell you are. Okay, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Let me say that again. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. If you're a ghost and no one knows about you online, you're going to have a very hard time selling anything. The benefit of YouTube is you get a really good look into what someone is like, okay? And this is long form. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you're probably going to, like, you will know us more than hearing us, okay? Because you hear us and know us. It's like a connection type thing. But then if you're teaching stuff on YouTube, which we're going to start doing very soon, you get even more because you get value, you see their personality, and you see a bunch of other stuff as well. And then we build an audience that know, like, and trust us. And then if you guys like our value, you're going to like our offers as well. Okay. And this is where people go wrong on Instagram is they're like, here's a hot photo of me, which tells me fuck all about you. Okay. And there's literally, maybe there's a little bit of like because they like the way you look, but there's not really any know or trust.
Yeah, and not even just a hot photo, but like they'll just advertise their offers just 24/7, you know, just bottom of funnel. So yeah, I think that there's a lot more to marketing, but our best clients from a marketing perspective, they show up on multiple channels. They're really open-minded. They try new things. They change, they pivot, they adapt. And yeah, they've really figured out exactly where their audience are and they've doubled down on those platforms.
Yeah, for sure.
Promise, right. I'm gonna hit you.
Oh, you're gonna hit me?
Well, I'm not gonna hit you physically.
Yeah. Oh.
Don't.
Again.
So what are you?
Don't worry, there's no domestic violence here. It's not that painful.
Now it sounds kind of sexual.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Choking.
This is an in-joke, so apologies for that. Okay, so what are our most successful clients doing from a sales perspective?
Yeah, this is funny. This has come up recently. So what happens in your little echo chamber on Instagram, and I'm going to say little echo chamber because I know you're all on it if you're listening to this, is you get in an echo chamber and then you start seeing messages over and over from similar people or the same people or a multitude of people. And they all start pushing their agenda or the thing they're trying to sell. Okay. And what that has really looked like lately is selling on landing page. So, you know, how cool would it be if, you know, people just went on your landing page and, you know, signed up and bought whatever it was that you were selling and you didn't have to do anything for it. You didn't have to lift a finger. That worked. And I say worked a couple of years ago. Okay. Now, internet trust is at an all-time low. Very hard to do unless you have a massive brand that people know and trust and like.
And have trusted for years.
Yeah. So the ones that are killing with sales are very adaptable. Okay. People these days, they want to talk with someone. Okay. A lot of the time that can be on text. You can do a sell by chat. You can jump on a quick phone call. You can do a Zoom call. Zoom call is the best for me. Phone call second best and third best is on text, in my opinion. What they're doing is they're just very adaptable. So they're going from one to another. It's really common for people to come into Success School and they say stuff like, hey, I just want to sell on landing page. And we're like, cool, you can, and we will help you to do that. But if you want to be more successful, we would recommend these steps. Okay. So they're very adaptable to that. And I think like probably the common theme that in all of this is adaptability and just willing to do the uncomfortable stuff or the stuff they're not good at. Our conversion rate in Success School on sales calls is anywhere from like 40 to 65%, depending on the week, about 50%. And like, that's a good conversion rate considering the price point of what we're selling. It's because we have a brand, we have no like and trust, and then they're speaking to our team on Zoom. So they're looking at them in person on a computer. Okay. Versus just on a landing page, sign up to my shit and, you know, pay me 10, 15, whatever, how many K that is at the time of recording this thing versus like doing that on a landing page. You can like, just imagine that from a consumer's point of view. Yes, you can do it from like a cheap perspective, but when you're selling something high ticket, it's very different.
Yeah. People just have questions. Like,
well.
I'm not going to get on a landing page and give someone $15,000 without talking to them first about, is this right for me? Am I 100% sure this is correct? Like, and you can do it if you have a big audience and a high volume of traffic and a lot of know, like, and trust. But what we're seeing is people with, you know, big audiences are struggling with direct selling on landing pages and they are having to have conversations. Now, if I look at the 3 best in-house clients that we have at sales, they all do it in very different ways, which is also super awesome. So one of them, like, they crush in DM sales because they have a low ticket offer. So they just have a lot of conversations, push a lot of like offers through their DMs, and that's how they're making all of their sales. We have other ones that, you know, they're running sales calls. We reviewed the sales call. We gave them feedback on the sales call. We made a few tweaks as per like our sales process and our sales training. And she went from like 30% to like 80%, I think 90% close rate on her calls. Her industry average is 30%, so way higher than her industry average. And then one of our other, you know, best clients does a bit of a mix. So she does a bit of a DM conversation to get them really nice and warm, make sure they're the right fit, gets them on a Zoom call, closes them within 30 minutes. And so there are different strategies that you get to run. Okay. There are lots of different ways you can sell off the back of masterclasses. You can sell, like, there's lots of different strategies you can run. But the thing is that you have to be adaptable and try new things. And honestly, with sales, it's such a finicky little process. Literally one sentence change will change the entire trajectory of the conversation. So like when we're looking at, you know, our clients sell by chat conversations, you know, they might screenshot their conversations they're having with clients and be like, why is this falling apart? And we'll give them feedback. They'll change something, and then all of their conversations will start converting. We're talking minor tweaks. And so if you run sales calls, if you're selling in, you know, chat conversations, if you're, you know, pushing people through whatever kind of funnel you're pushing them through, you could be one tweak away from a flood of money. Okay. And all of these results that we're talking about happen within 3 or 4 months within our program, because they just had to figure out what the constraint was and fix that constraint. And the minute they changed their tactic, it just flooded for them. So with sales, guys, it really comes down to trial and error and test, but you know, be really open to trying new things.
Yeah, so there's a reason we put this in order, and I think it's the most important order. If you don't have the right mindset, you're going to struggle to do marketing. If you don't have great marketing, you're going to struggle to make sales. And if you don't make sales, there's really no point in scaling or having systems, because you're going to have nothing to systemize or scale, because you're not going to have any clients in that order. So which leads us into our fourth question here. So what are our most successful clients doing from a scale point of view, or systems and processes?
Yeah. So all of them are not solo operators. And what that means is that some of them are solo operators, but they have team. Okay. So all of them are not doing this on their own. You know, some of them hired team the day they started, like Kat, who I spoke about earlier. Others have their partners working in their business, and even still they're hiring VAs and team members. I would say that every single one of our clients that is absolutely crushing it has at least a VA, and they've had one for quite some time.
Yep.
The fastest way to not be successful in business, the fastest way to stay stagnant, the fastest way to, you know, stay at the level you're at and the income bracket you're at, and, you know, continue trading time for money, is to keep doing everything yourself. There are so many administrative tasks that you need to get off your plate that you don't even think about, like just chasing up an invoice, creating an invoice, sending a payment link, you know, following up on a late payment. Like just that process alone is going to take you out of the business, and it's also going to give you scarcity and yucky feelings that you don't need to be feeling, that are going to help you spiral into a state of, is this even good, and why am I even doing this, and this is so hard, and my clients don't want to pay me, and having to look at contract terms and just all that sort of shit. Someone else can do it. Someone else can do that stuff. They can schedule your posts out once you've written them. They can not. I have people even making my reels for me. I give them the content. I give them the B-roll. They produce the reels for me. So, you know, like, guys, you can hand off so much stuff. So like our editing, our podcast editing, our YouTube editing, all those things we hand off. And our best clients do the same. They stay focused on their areas of genius, and that is 100% required from a scalability perspective. If you are, and just from an energetic perspective, if you are focusing your time and energy on shit that you hate doing, your energy levels are going to be low for doing the work. You're going to get demotivated. It's going to not be fun anymore. You're going to start having thoughts of, is this even worth it? Do I even want to do this? I'm not even having a good time. I feel really stressed. Because you're focusing on all the wrong things and not the right things, you won't be attracting clients. You won't be attracting leads. Sales are going to feel really hard, and you'll start to wonder, do I really want to do this anymore? And when you get to that point, it's time to outsource. Like, first of all, it's time to outsource way before that. But if you are feeling any of those things, I'm telling you right now, you're just not focused on the things you need to be focused on. And the things that you need to be focused on, things that you enjoy in your business. Like we would never outsource our coaching. I love coaching. It's my favorite thing to do. We love creating content. We really enjoy it. We really enjoy podcasting. And so we want to create time to do those things. We don't want to be sitting in our emails ever, or on phone calls ever. And if a team meeting can be done on a 5-minute Loom video, can guarantee we're not having that team meeting. So we just get hyper focused on where we want to be and the things we want to do. And our clients do the same. They stay in, you know, in getting the team member on board, in creating the systems for them to win. And then they, you know, keep doing that, and they keep putting themselves in the way of the shit that they're really good at. And that's why they're growing so fast.
Awesome. Nothing to add.
Perfect. Love that. So from a last question on this, would you say, this is like just such a leading question, but Are they showing up, our best clients, or are they hiding?
Yeah. So I would say 95% of the clients that are crushing are showing up. There is the 5% that are just like silent assassins and they just fucking get it done and don't talk to us, which is also fine. Everyone learns and gets whatever they want out of a program in different ways. But the ones that are like in our face, check this, do this, what am I doing here? Like, help me with this, overview this, review this, are crushing. The ones that are literally just not showing up are not, and they don't say anything.
Yeah, and the thing is that this, like, people get scared. Guys, you have all been here where you're like, oh, I feel like I'm so far behind. And, you know, like, I'll liken this to nutrition or diets. Like, you know, the first few weeks, you're like, I'm doing this, and you want all the validation. So you might message your nutritionist and be like, well, look how good this is. We're doing so well. Like, oh my God, I love it. Or your PT or whatever. And then, you know, a couple of weeks later, you fall off the bandwagon. You have a big night out. You eat some McDonald's the next day, like whatever that might be. And you start to feel a bit of shame, a little bit of like, ugh, I don't feel so good. It's all right. I'll get back into it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and you kind of didn't get back into it the way that you wanted to, and the shame cycle starts to perpetuate, right? So we start to you know, feel even worse. That makes us not want to show up more because now we're feeling embarrassed, and that's typically what happens. The same thing, if you're a coach, the same thing will be happening in your programs with the clients that aren't showing up. They get themselves into shame cycles. They get themselves into doubt cycles. And the best thing you can do if you're in a shame cycle, if you're in a doubt cycle, is ask for help, because with one conversation, you can get back on track so quickly. And the only person who's going to judge you, the only person who's, you know, going to shame you, the only person who's going to, you know, berate you is you. All right. You have not paid a coach to do that. I hope none of your coaches would do that. If you show up, and we had a client show up last week that said, hey, Steph, I haven't been around for a while. I've been feeling really embarrassed that I haven't hit the goals that I set. And I was like, that's okay. Forgive yourself. We're here. We learned some shit. Let's refocus on the next goal and let's move forward. It doesn't matter. Like, staying in a shame cycle is such a low frequency energy. It's going to actually take your business backwards. And so the best thing you can do is show up and say, I feel crappy, but I'm ready to make a new decision today and I need some help to make the decision. This is the best thing you can do for your business. And the clients that do the best in our program, they do that on a really regular basis.
Yeah, just ask for help. Like, if you need help, ask for help. And whoever that is, you don't have to be in Success School. You can be wherever you're at. But if you need something, ask for help.
A friend, a mentor, your husband, like, ask for help. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I went out last night with my mates to dinner. We had some drinks, and they've got a product business, and like, they're just at a roadblock. And they're just at this roadblock, which is so simple for me to fix. And I just said to them, I was like, just fucking ask me, boys. Like, just send me a message, and we can punch through this so quickly. And I just didn't get why they didn't. But like, after you saying that, maybe it's a little bit of that. Maybe it's a few other things as well.
Yeah, it's like we get in our feels, guys. We make it mean stuff about us. You know, if things aren't going so well, we can make it mean something about us. And I get it, and we've all been there. My God, we've all been there. But at the end of the day, like, being there is not a helpful place to be. So whether that's you're our clients, you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're part of another program, maybe you're part of another mastermind, maybe you just have a friendship circle who's also in business with you. Maybe you have an accountant that you need to actually just like stop, you know, and actually stop hiding from your numbers and look at. Maybe it's a husband that you need to ask for more support at home. I did see one of our clients got a cleaner recently, you know, like
Let's
just
go.
Like things like that. It's like, where can you get some support in your world so that you can focus on the things you want to and get back on track. So please, if you're in a shame, guilt, you know, I'm not doing this and I should be cycle, that energy is a frequency we need to break out of immediately. And our clients that do the best, they show up every week so they don't fall into those energetic cycles.
All right, guys, if you got some value from that episode, all I ask is send me a message, follow the show, or subscribe wherever you're at, and then just leave us a review. That was awesome, guys. Look forward to next week.